Today I'm checking out a new location down on the coast. It's by the area called La Marina, and the thing that's kind of appealing to me about this place is there's supposed to be like fairly long sections of beaches with sand dunes, and I thought that might make for some interesting shots. Now, I almost came here last week, but it was really warm, blue skies, very sunny, and I thought it might be a bit busy. Today it's not as warm. It's not cold, but it's not as warm. It's a bit breezy and it's pretty overcast. So we've got flat light, but hopefully it means the place isn't going to be too busy with people, which will make it easier for me to do photography. There are actually some people doing kite surfing down here as well. Anyway, I hope you'll enjoy the video. If you do, and you're new here, don't forget to hit subscribe before you go. Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. When I left home it was completely cloudy, but as I've got closer to the coast, the skies have become a bit clearer. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not. The sun is going to be setting inland, which is where it's the most cloudy, which means we're probably unlikely to get a decent sunset. On the other hand, there's still some quite nice cloud out towards the sea, so we might be okay. I was kind of thinking we might end up with quite a lot of black and white today because the light is pretty flat. The sun does occasionally break through, so we might get something, but I'm interested to see whether black and white or colour works best for this kind of scene in in flat light. There is a few people around, people with dogs, and I said there's the kite surfers around. There's only one of them actually out on the water at the moment, so I probably won't bother doing any photos of those. And I think my plan is I'm going to walk down the kind of the dune path first and have a look and see what kind of opportunities. I'm not going to go too far because I might want to come round and go back along the beach if it looks better. Anyway, time to do some walking around. In case you're wondering, it is 2 hours 20 minutes until sunset. Whether I actually stay till sunset will depend on my expectation of what's going to happen and get later on with those clouds. Anyway, let's go for a little wander. Hard work walking on sand. A lot of the sand dunes around here are quite scrubby. There's lots of plants coming up that are not particularly attractive, and they've kind of been getting in the way of the scene, if you like. But I have actually got a scene in front of me that I think might work. Just got to make sure I don't walk in it. Down here there is a scrubby little bit of plant coming in, but there's some nice patterns in the sand dunes, and it kind of leads out through a couple of other dunes and then down and out towards the sea. And I'm thinking if I get the composition right with the scrubby plant in the foreground, which will have to be a fast exposure because it's blowing around in the wind, and then out to the sea in the background. Yeah, I think black and white's going to look better, but I think I will try a vertical, but I may bring the camera up a bit to get a clearer view down. Oh, got a dog coming to see me. Hello, little fella. What do you want? You want to be down there? That way. Nice little dog that's unfortunately now left a load of paw prints all the way down the scene. If I go a bit further that way, it might work. I'm going to actually go quite high up now to get a cleaner view down, get more of the sea in. I don't know if that's going to work, but just off in the corner of the frame with the two people with the dog, and then there's somebody with a kite surfing thing going on in there as well. a shot here, I've got basically just patterns in the sand in the foreground, and then there's like a little hill thing there with some foliage on, and then the sky. The only thing is I'm going to need to focus stack, and this is far too low down to put the tripod, so I've taken off the 2-second timer and I've turned on, I've got autofocus on, and I've turned on my touch shutter, so I should be able to take 3 shots. And hopefully they'll still be well enough aligned for me to focus stack. Come down off of the dunes onto the beach now. It's getting quite hard walking up there, and I thought I'd come down here, just make it a bit easier on myself, because I've walked a fair way along. But it's interesting to see, I'm kind of intrigued to see how some of these images, assuming I shoot some more, will compare between colour and black and white. At the moment I'm leaning heavily towards black and white on them, but I might actually put them both up, and you know, you can let me know what you think. Oh, there's a walkway over there that leads up behind the dunes, and then all the way along here, as far as I can see, the dunes are all roped off with signs up saying don't cross. Presumably they're doing that to, you know, protect them from wear and tear, erosion from people going on them. It looks like that fence goes a long way up. So I might go and have a little look up that walkway, see where it goes, and maybe even see if there's an image to be had. There is a shot that I think might work using this walkway to lead down, and I'm also just considering the possibility of doing a long exposure of this scene. But what I've got to do at the moment is wait for some people to get out of the way. So we'll just wait. There's some people walking past on the beach that have been doing some exercises, and there's a couple decided to stop down on the walkway there. So fortunately I'm not racing against changing light too much at the moment, so hopefully that won't matter. I've got time to wait. They're moving back this way, so hopefully they'll come past before somebody else decides to go in there. I'm going to get a 10 stop filter ready. Okay, 11 to 22 lens, 11mm. So we've got dunes coming in from the left, the walkway curves around from the right and down, then out to the sea. I think it looks quite nice actually. Let's see what we can do with a long exposure. I'm going to pop on the 10 stop. That's not going to give me a massively long exposure. Should let me get 30 seconds. Only concern I've got is it's quite windy, and I've got to have the tripod up quite high to get the composition right, and that might mean I get too much vibration in there, particularly on a wooden walkway. That might be alright. I might do a couple more for two reasons. One, just in case I lose any sharpness, but also I could consider combining a number of them using the averaging mode in Photoshop to effectively extend my exposure from 30 seconds up to maybe a couple of minutes. But the images look pretty sharp on there, so I'm hoping they're going to be okay. I ended up just coming down to 20 seconds because the sky was a bit too bright, and I ended up shooting 6 images at 20 seconds, so I can blend if I want to extend the exposure time. Obviously I could have put another filter on and extended the exposure time in camera, but then that's only going to increase the probability of getting some shake from the breeze, because it is quite a little breeze coming across here. I've been watching a gap in the clouds just there, thinking if that stays, it might just let some light through around sunset. Sadly, it looks like it's gradually getting smaller, closing up. We've still got 40 odd minutes till sunset. Ooh, 3 cormorants just flown over. There's some nice rays coming through down there, but I can't really see that there's a composition worth shooting. I'm back up on the dunes again at the minute because I thought if I'm going to be shooting towards the sunset, then that's kind of where I need to be, but I can't really see anything. I don't know, I'm going to have a quick look around. There's loads of footprints around here, they're not mine. Something down here that might just work using one of the little bits of foliage coming up, but I think I'm going to need the tripod. Okay, so I'm using this. There's a little plant growing out here. There's patterns in the sand. There's some more plants further back. Then there's a big scene, and then there's some rays coming through the cloud. Now the thing is, I'm going to have to exposure merge this because that bright patch of sky is really bright. So we're going to be something like 1/250th of a second for that. Then I'm going to make it brighter. Still focusing on the background, and then another 2 stops brighter, still focusing on the background, and then I'm going to do another one focusing in the middle, or actually on the little plant. And then one right down on the foreground, if I can get it to focus all the way down there. And that might be it for the light. The sun is right in that gap now, so it's actually now too bright to shoot it. And in about a minute or so, the sun will drop down behind the rest of the cloud there. And I think that's probably the last we're going to see of it. We might get some light coming up and hitting the cloud through the gap, I don't know. We'll hang on and see. That little gap in the clouds let some light through for a few minutes. Pretty much all it did was create a little bit of interest and maybe some mood in the sky. Didn't really put any light on the landscape at all. It's now gone back behind the cloud, and in fact that gap is closing up. I am now 99.9% sure we're not going to get anything exciting at sunset here, but it's an interesting location. I will be coming back here. There's some interesting looking wooded areas with some really sort of like twisted, gnarled shaped, wind-swept pine trees that with some nice light could be quite interesting. So I'm going to come back and have a look at that. But that's not for today, that's going to be for another day. So keep watching, and I'll be back here at some point. Now, I said I was going to put up colour and black and white versions of the images to see which ones look best. So if I've put up both, don't forget to let me know in the comments which ones you think are best. And that's it. Thank you very much for watching, and until the next video, bye.